single document, but it is the same document, but it is named differently. It has different names based on the country it is marketed. Okay. In US, this document is called as USPI, United States Package Insert. Okay, you would have seen this when you buy any medication or something. There will be a paper which is folded multiple times and inserted inside the box, and that is called as USPI. And in that, you see an adverse event, like safety section. There will be a section called a safety section. Okay, so now if a patient is reporting to you an adverse event, you have to go and look whether this adverse event is already listed in the safety section of the USPI. If the product is marketed in US, okay, and if the patient is reporting to you, then you have to look into USPI. Okay, so all this USPI will be provided to you by the client, by the pharmaceutical company to whom you are working for. Okay, if the same product is marketed in Europe, you have to reference a document called as SMPC or SPC, otherwise called as summary. It is summary of product characteristics. You call it as SMPC or SPC. It is also the document which has everything about the drug, like the pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics, and everything of the drug. And also, it has a section for the safety section for the adverse event experienced. Okay, so if it is a post-marketed drug in Europe, you are getting the report. Okay, so there you have to reference SMPC or SPC, which will also be provided to you by the pharmaceutical company you're working for. Then, if the product is post marketed in Canada, then you'll have to reference a document called as PM, called as Product Monograph. Otherwise, you can call it a CPM, Canadian Product Monograph. In that, you have to reference only the safety section. Okay, and in some other countries can also have something called as country data sheets in other countries, so that will be provided to you by the client. So those specific country data sheets, you have to assess the expectedness with the country data sheets. Okay, you got this. So for the clinical trial, you use only one document called as investigators brochure, but that investigators brochures undergo multiple versions. Every year they update the investigators brochure. Okay, so once they update the IB, the pharmaceutical company will provide that updated IB, the updated version of IB to to the pharmacovigilance department. Okay, so you have to use the updated IB always. Now, for post marketed, there are different kinds of document. They are similar. For US, it is called as US package insert. Europe, it is called as summary of product characteristics. Canada, it is product monograph, and other countries can also have country data sheets. Okay, so this all these documents, it is there are different naming terminologies. As I told, for the clinical trial, it is IB, and for the post market, it has four various names. Together, there is an umbrella term for this documents called as Reference Safety Information or RSI. Okay, RSI means reference safety information. If somebody asks you in an interview, how do you assess expectedness? Your answer should be, we assess expectedness by referencing the reference safety information. Okay, in the safety section. Okay, we refer the safety section, reference safety information, and that reference safety information for clinical trial is investigators brochure, and for post-marketed drug is can be USPI, SMPC, product monograph, or country data sheets. Okay, and also you should know another terminology. I have been using the terminology of expectedness so far. So when you are assessing the expectedness for clinical trial, you use the terminology expectedness, expected or unexpected. If the adverse event is present in the safety section of the IB, you call it as expected adverse event. If the adverse event is not present in the safety section of the IB, you call it as unexpected. Okay, when you're working for the post marketed drug, We usually